Welcome back to my channel. So in this video we'll learn about how to install an operating system into the Raspberry Pi. So the best way to install Raspberry Pi OS in a Raspberry Pi device is using the Raspberry Pi Imager. You can download the Imager from the Raspberry Pi website. There are multiple options, one for Mac OS, one for Windows and one for Ubuntu. I'm using a Mac OS, so I'll be downloading the Raspberry Pi Imager for the Mac OS. Currently the downloading is in progress. Once the download will complete, we'll open the Imager file and then we'll select the necessary settings. We'll select the device and we'll select the OS type and the storage. So here we are selecting Raspberry Pi 5 because our device is Raspberry Pi 5, and we are selecting Raspberry Pi OS. There are multiple options here, but you can select Raspberry Pi OS. We are using a micro SD card for because Raspberry Pi supports a micro SD card. So again, we are here is very important step. We are editing the settings that will be later useful in connecting with the Raspberry Pi device or logging in. It is preferred to select the host name through which you can connect, the username and password. There are multiple connection options. Suppose you want to use Raspberry Pi without using the monitor and connect using an SSH connection, then you can connect either through the password or through the private key. Currently we are not selecting the private key, we'll only select the username and the password. So username is Pi5 we have selected, and we'll just type in our password. It's also important to write it down password somewhere safe where you can connect using to the Raspberry Pi. So we are typing the password. You can also select configure wireless LAN if you are using the same Wi-Fi. That will help because when you switch on the Wi-Fi, even without monitor or keyboard, the Raspberry Pi will automatically connect to this Wi-Fi network whose credential you are putting it here. So even if you want to use Raspberry Pi without any keyboard or monitor, you can straight away connect using your laptop. You can connect both using host name through SSH connection also, and later you'll be prompting the password. Also you can use keyword. So after selecting all these settings, we'll just go ahead, and this OS will get installed into my micro SD card. It will take a couple of minutes. There's nothing to worry. So this is the most I would say the easiest step to install Raspberry Pi OS into a card. Advanced users may select to deviating to different users, different softwares. They might select into Raspberry Pi Lite version or different versions of Ubuntu. But for beginners, I would highly recommend to go through these steps only. It will be very, very helpful. If you know any other ways to install an OS into a Raspberry Pi, I would suggest you to put that in comments. That would be helpful to other users also and to me. So here we'll wait for the time that will complete the Raspberry Pi OS into the micro SD card. Once it is done, we'll take up the micro SD card from the card reader and put it into the Raspberry Pi 5 card slot. So now we'll take out the SD card and we'll put it inside the Raspberry Pi 5 SD card slot, which is on the back side of it. Now we have put the SD card into the device and we'll just switch it on. So you just have to switch it on. It will directly connect to your Wi-Fi network because we did those settings initially. To check that, we just have to type ping Raspberry Pi local and you will receive the packets. Now to connect it, you can recall the settings that we provided earlier. The username was Pi5, so you want to put SSH Pi5 and Raspberry Pi local, the host name, and here it's saying, do you want to add, do you trust this device? Yes. So once you type yes, you will be prompted to password. So this password was again the one which we set at the starting of the OS installation part. So after typing the password, yes, as you could see that we have now connected into the Pi 5 Raspberry Pi. You can type the lslh command and you can see the folders, corresponding folders, and also the root, the user directory home Pi 5. So we have conveniently connected to the Raspberry Pi 5. So friends, let me know how you like this video and what more topics you want me to cover. Thank you for watching.